Welcome everybody. Welcome back. This is going to be a 45-minute flow class. My name is Sarah and I'll be guiding us through. For practice today, as we begin to build heat, build stamina, we'll be moving through a dynamic sequence. You may want to have a couple of blocks handy. If you don't have blocks at home, just use block substitutes, something that's a little sturdier to bring the floor closer to you. To begin, we will start out in a seated Varasana or an easy seat. Seated Varasana means that we'll sit on our heels. So if you have support like a block or a blanket, go ahead and slide it underneath of your sits bones. And then take a moment to just find a nice tall spine. As you ground down through your sits bones, make the connection of the bottom of your bum and the block or the earth, wherever you're at. From there, grow tall through your spine, lifting up through the crown of your head, lengthening the back of your neck, and then pinching the shoulder blades close together onto your back body. Close your eyes completely or let your gaze soften towards the earth. Allow your palms to rest either on your thighs, palms down if you'd like to give energy, palms facing up if you'd like to receive energy. Take a moment to just settle in and notice what you notice. Scanning your external environment. What kind of sounds are you hearing within your space? Notice the air and the way that it feels on your skin. Is there light shining through your windows that you can see behind your eyelids, maybe a red or yellow shade? Or maybe there's different imagery that you're seeing, colors, patterns. As you find your seat here and you find this tall spine, feel the contact points, not just your sits bones, but your knees and your shins, your ankles and the tops of your feet. Can you press down through this area and with every inhale grow a little taller as you press and reach the crown of your head towards the sky? Exhaling to slightly pinch your shoulder blades towards one another and down to open up across your chest and your collarbones, encouraging you to take bigger and fuller breaths in. As you breathe in through both nostrils, fill up through your belly, your ribs, and your chest. As you breathe out, softly sigh the air out, but empty from the top to the bottom. Inhale, balloon your belly towards me, expand your ribs out, and lift your chest up towards your collarbones. Exhale, open your mouth and let it all go. Find empty. Now begin to find this slight restriction in the back of your throat. This is what we call our Ujjayi Breath, or breath of focus, breath of fire, yogi breath, if you will. Inhaling through your nose, fill up in the same way, belly, ribs, and chest. But as you exhale, breathe back out your nostrils and empty from your chest, ribs, and belly button. Try to pull your belly button in and up towards your heart, pressing out any stale air. Continue on with this breath, breathing in and breathing out through just the nose now as we cultivate heat from within. And as we cultivate heat from within, I invite you to gather all this information you've learned about yourself so far. And with this information, can you use this material to set an intention for your class? So if you can't think of something today, I'll offer up that you give it all you got today. Make sure that when you're moving through your practice, instead of giving up, go to that place where you feel the burn, where you can come into the fire, and even if it's uncomfortable, enter into it today and explore, discover, challenge yourself so that you can learn to grow. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. Inhale, begin to crack your eyelids open and just take a moment to see what you see. Begin to shift forward and into a tabletop position. If you're sitting on a block, go ahead and slide it to the top of your mat. Find your hands under your shoulders and your hips over your knees. Inhale, hammock your belly down, take your gaze forward or even up. Find your cow pose. Exhale, round through your spine to find your cat. Look back at your thighs. Arch your upper body. Do this 4 more times. Sink your belly, open your heart on your inhales. Exhale, dome and coil, tuck your chin to your throat. Inhale, pull the heart between the gate of your arms. Lift the crown and tail. Exhale, coil your crown and tail towards one another, pulling your belly button in and up. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, return to a neutral tabletop position. And as you exhale, walk your knees together. Sit back on your heels. Now, of course, if this is bothersome for your heels, you can always bring that block back underneath. Otherwise, slide your weight to the left so you can bring your right foot out in front. And we're going to do a little stretch for the top of the left foot. Start to walk your hands behind you so they're under your shoulders. And then as you ground down through your left shin and foot, lift your hips up, pressing through your right foot here as well. Chest to the sky. You can choose to keep your gaze forward or drop your head back if that feels okay on the neck. We also get a nice stretch through our left hip flexor here as well. Take 1 more big breath in and exhale, lower your hips back to your left heel. Slide your right knee back to meet your left. Seated Varasana where we started. Slide your weight to the right heel. Step your left foot in front. Line up your heel with your right knee. That should be a good alignment base for you. And then begin to walk your hands back. If the floor is far away, you could bring those blocks under your hands here. We're not here for too long. Press down into the right foot, shin, and the left foot as well. Lifting your hips, lifting your chest. We get a nice stretch, not only for the right hip flexor and quad, but also a little back bend, a chest opener, and maybe even a stretch for the armpits. And then lowering your hips back down, slide yourself back up to a tall seat, bringing both knees underneath. Take a moment to breathe in and out. Inhale, shift into table, walking your palms a little bit more forward than you typically would. Exhale, tuck your toes and send your hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog. Begin to pedal out through your knees here, shifting the weight side to side. You can do lots of things to find and discover this shape in your body. Down dog crouches are always nice. A shift forward into plank to size up the distance between your hands and your feet. You want to keep your hands and feet there and lift your hips back up without moving them. That's the goal that you're working with, or the distance that you should be working with, according to the anatomy of your body. You could also undulate the spine a few times, getting used to that shoulder work, up and back into your down dog. Good. Let's do a couple more rounds of breath so you can feel into this opening. Pressing down through your palms, but imagine trying to open the lid of a pickle jar as you draw your hands sort of down and then up and in towards your ears or your armpits. That's the wrapping of the triceps that we want here in our down dog. Softness through your knees, reaching your heels towards or on the back of your mat behind you. From your downward facing dog, take a deep breath in and exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift your heels up. Exhale, drop your heels over to the right. Toes point towards your left. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, drop your heels over to the left. Point your toes right. Keep lifting your hips up and back. And let's do this 1 breath per movement 2 more times. Inhale, lift your heels through center. Exhale, drop your heels to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. One more on each side. Breathe in and lift. Breathe out and side bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, drop. Inhale, return to your neutral your neutral downward facing dog. And inhale, shift forward into high plank. Now untuck your toes, flip to the tops of your feet, and let your hips come forward into sort of this lazy upward facing dog. To find it, you might even let your knees or your thighs come down to the earth. And like me, I need to adjust my hands under my shoulders a little bit more here. But once you have it, let your knees come back up off the mat. Use your core to help keep your low back protected. And then exhale, roll over your toes and send your hips up and back. Find your downward facing dog. 2 more times just like that. Inhale, shift forward into high plank. Exhale, lower your hips for this lazy up dog. Toes can stay tucked. Exhale, with the strength of your core, send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, out to high plank, shoulders over your wrists. Open up your chest, open up your hips, find your lazy up dog. Pull your shoulder blades together. Exhale, use the strength of your core to send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward and walk your feet all the way up to meet your hands. Feet land hip-width distance apart. Inhale, press away from your shins, knees, or thighs. Halfway lift as you draw your shoulder blades onto your back body. Parallel your torso to the earth. Hands come underneath of your shoulders. Inhale, squat and curl. And exhale, roll all the way down to a seat. Grounding your heels, feet are hip-width distance apart. Sit up nice and tall. Bring your arms up. Exhale, prayer twist to your right. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, prayer twist to your left. Inhale, reach up. Repeating this sequence 2 more times. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, lift up, right through your chest. Exhale, prayer twist to your left. Inhale, arms up. Feel the length in your side bodies. And exhale, twist to the right. 1 more time to the left. Inhale through center. And exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, grab behind your knees and start to rock and roll, uncrossing your feet. So you're still grabbing behind your knees, but as you pump your legs, prepare for a forward fold. So find enough momentum, plant the feet, and keep letting your whole upper body drape over your legs. Let it drizzle. Start to soften your knees if they're not already, and slower than you want to go, roll up to stand. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, high mountain. Draw your tailbone down, press your hips slightly forward. Exhale, goal post your arms, lift your collarbones to the sky. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, high mountain. Exhale, hinge at your hips with a flat back, forward fold. Inhale, press away from your shins, knees, or thighs. Pinch your shoulder blades together. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to high plank and pause. Shifting forward, breathe in. Option to lower knees here. Lower halfway to chaturanga. Press to lower high plank. 2 more. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, press to high plank, maybe knees lifted. Exhale, lower chaturanga, pause. And inhale into low or high cobra, yogi's choice. Maybe upward facing dog. Exhale, send your hips to the sky. Find your downward facing dog and pedal out through your knees here, shifting the weight side to side. Shake out your head, let it hang heavy in between your biceps. Good. And then coming back to a neutral downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. Dial your right toes down and your right hip to square off to the mat below you. Exhale, draw your knee to your nose and pause. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step your right foot and replace your right hand where it was just on the mat there. Dial your back heel down so your toes are at 45 degrees. So look back at your left toes. Make sure they're pointed up towards this upper left corner of your mat, not out to the long edge side on the left of your mat. Warrior one, inhale, sweep your arms up and find your heart to stack over your hips. Once you get here, wiggle your right toes, track your knee over your ankle. Press firmly through the back left pinky edge side of your foot. Try not to collapse the weight on the inner arch of your foot. Scissor hug your right hip back. As you lengthen your tailbone towards the earth, grow up through the spine. Exhale, bring your right hand to your hip and side bend up and over with your left. This long lateral left side body stretch. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, bring your hands down to frame your front foot. Lift your back heel so your hips are square completely, and then lift your back leg for standing splits. Great place to grab your blocks. If you have blocks, walk them back in line with your right ankle and bend your right knee so you can draw your upper body closer to your shin. So think more about getting into your forward fold versus how high this left leg is lifting. I promise the more you bend your right knee, the higher your left leg has the opportunity to lift. Inhale, lift halfway. You can walk your blocks out under your shoulders. Exhale, draw your knee to your nose. 2 more like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to nose. Good, 1 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw your knee to your nose and step your foot down to a forward fold. Feet are together at the top of your mat. Inhale, sit your hips back and down, Ukutasana chair pose. Bring your hands together at your heart. Look past your kneecaps and make sure you can lift all 10 toes. If you can't, sit your bum back in space a little bit. Roll your shoulder blades onto your back body. If you want more heat, you could goal post your arms or reach them overhead. You could even find a little pulse here. Let's pulse for 8, for 7, last 6, stay low. Broaden your sitting bones for 4, final 3, 2, and 1. Inhale here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your palms, stepping back to high plank to either flow. This flow could be holding down dog. You could move through your chaturanga. You could find a cycle, a cat-cow even. This is your practice. Make it what you need it to be today. Pedal out through your knees. Once you get back into downward facing dog. Feet together at the back of your mat. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Point your toes down. Dial your left hip down to the earth, but keep reaching your heel higher. Press away from the heels of your palms. Exhale, round knee to nose. Pause here and look forward. Replace your left palm with your left foot and ground your right heel so your toes are at 45. Scissor hug your left hip back and inhale. Reach your arms up. Warrior one. You may need to adjust your back right foot. You may need to adjust your left front foot. Square your hips to the front of your mat. Make sure you can wiggle your left toes. The left knee may or may not be tracking directly over the ankle. We're working to get to that level of our lunge and find that parallel left thigh to the earth. But until we're there, focus in on pressing firmly through the back right foot, lifting the inner arch, firing up the leg muscles, and scissor hugging the thighs here. Inhale. Exhale, bring your left hand to your waist. Reach your right arm up and over for a big side body stretch through this right side. Keep pressing firmly back through your right heel. Inhale, sweep both arms overhead. Exhale, frame your front foot and lift your back heel. Send your right leg all the way up into the sky. Bring your nose closer to your left shin. Great place to grab your blocks. Great place to soften deeply through your standing leg knee so you can lift your top leg higher and bring your head down closer to the earth. Inhale, lift halfway, walk your hands under your shoulders. Exhale, draw your right knee to your nose and round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to nose. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, pull it in. Step your foot down to forward fold and set your blocks to the side. Inhale, lift halfway, flatten out your back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sit your hips back and down, Ukutasana, chair pose. So again, make sure that you're placing the weight in the heels. You're able to lift all 10 toes. Wrap your thigh muscles around your glutes and send them back so you can lengthen your tailbone long, but broaden your sitting bones wide. Hands can come to heart center, or for more heat, goal posts or overhead. Let's find a subtle pulse here for 8, 7, good. Final 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay low. Take an inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Pinch your shoulders together. Press away from your legs. Exhale, plant your palms. Step back to high plank. Again, you can flow, or maybe you're just holding here. Sending your hips back to down dog. Your vinyasa, your style. Make this your practice. Moving on. Heading back into your downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Feet together at the back of your mat. Inhale, sweep your right leg to the sky. Exhale, draw your knee to your nose and pause. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, this time tap your knee to the floor and then lift it back up. 3 more. Exhale, or let's say inhale here. Exhale around. Inhale. Exhale around. Good. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale around, and now step the foot forward in between your hands. Inhale, reach your arms to the sky. High crescent lunge this time. So hips are still square, but now our back heel is lifted. So soften your back knee. You do want to try to parallel this front thigh to the floor. Try to stay low in your hips. Anchor your tailbone down and pull your low belly muscles in. You can always straighten back out through the leg once you've got that core integrity. Inhale here. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center and take a twist over to your right. Hooking the left elbow to the outside of the thigh. Press down with your top palm and rotate your right ribs open. Maybe the gaze heads over your right shoulder. As you lengthen out from back heel to the crown of your head, keep scissor hugging your right hip back. Inhale, slowly transition and reach your arms back up to the sky. Exhale, frame your front foot. Lift your back leg for standing splits. Inhale here. Exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Inhale to standing splits. Exhale, knee to nose. 1 more like that. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee to nose. Step the foot down and forward fold. Inhale, lift your arms, sit your hips back. Ukutasana. Exhale, sweep your arms back for airplane wings. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms back. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, stay with your arms back and lift your left leg. Send it all the way back into Warrior 3 as you tilt your torso forward and extend through the heel. Left foot can be flexed or pointed just as long as the muscle of the leg is working, is active. Arms can be out to the side like mine or out in front. Pull your right hip back, dial your left hip down. Soften your standing leg knee and inhale, rise up. One-legged mountain, either tapping your left toes as a modification or bringing your left knee in line with your hip. Suck your low belly muscles in. Exhale, pull your knee closer to your chest. Good. Inhale, tap your toes to the earth. And exhale, find your one-legged mountain. Inhale, arms down, tap your toes. Exhale, one-legged mountain. 1 more like that. Inhale, tap down. Exhale, reach up. And now send your leg back into warrior three. Arms can take on any variation. Using this warrior three as a transition, step all the way back and windmill around into star pose. Arms out, toes out, but now turn your toes in. So all 10 toes pointing inwards. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bring your hands behind your head, and as you hinge at your hips, softly bend your knees and forward fold. Wide-legged forward fold. Lengthening the crown of your head towards the earth. Keep a soft micro bend in your knees here. Full breath in. You can let your hands relax towards the earth. And exhale to release. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale to release. Inhale, reach and rise all the way up to the sky. And this time with your arms out to the horizon. Exhale with a flat back, hinge, and forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. As you exhale, start to crawl to the top of your mat into a low lunge. Step your right foot back into high plank. Listen closely. Walk your hands forward and lower your forearms down into a plank. Inhale, press up into your high plank. And exhale, drop your heels, lower your forearms down. One more time. Inhale, press up to high plank. Exhale into your forearm plank, and this time walk your feet back to interlace your hands and simply hold here. Breathing in, breathing out, pressing down through your forearms. Keep your shoulders stacked over your elbows. Keep your buns in line with your shoulders. If you want a little bit more, tap your right knee and then your left, right, left here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, plank in 3, 2, 1. Press back up to your hands. Option to flow or option to just send your hips up and back. I'm going to skip that vinyasa myself. I'm feeling it. Whew, nice big openness there through the shoulders. Lots of heat in the core and the shoulders. Let's take this to the other side and then we'll start to bring ourselves down for the remainder of our class. From downward facing dog, reset with a big breath in. Open your mouth and exhale. Wrap your triceps down and up. Armpits in and up towards the ears. Feet together at the back of your mat. Inhale, sweep your left leg up high. Exhale, draw your knee to your nose, round, pause here. Inhale, tap your knee to the floor. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, tap. Exhale in, 2 more, inhale. Exhale, last one, we hold, inhale. Exhale, and step the foot through. Inhale, reach your arms up, high crescent lunge. So making those adjustments like you did on the other side. You can always relax your shoulders and bring your hands to your hip for a moment. Try to find a neutral pelvis. So imagine your pelvic bowl is like a fish bowl, right? We've talked about this before. Don't let it spill forward. Don't let the water out. Keep it neutral. And then with that integrity, can you straighten the right leg without lifting your right hip higher than your left? Reach your arms up, but soften your shoulder blades down. Inhale here. Exhale, take a prayer twist to your left. Hook your right elbow to the outside of your thigh. And we're not just chilling here on this front leg, right? We're pressing down with the top arm to rotate and twist open. We don't want our upper body hanging out on the leg. We're just using the arm or the leg as a lever for our elbow to press against and open up our left ribs. Keep the long line of energy from your back right heel all the way out to the crown of your head. One more big breath in here. Big transition, or at least a tricky transition. So get your foundation, look down first, and then inhale, reach your arms all the way back up. Stack your heart over your hips. Exhale, frame your front foot, and inhale, lift your right leg for standing splits with or without the support of your blocks. Exhale, draw your right knee to your nose. Inhale, lift it up. 2 more. Exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, draw your knee in, pause, and step the foot down to a forward fold. Inhale, sit your hips back, reach your arms up, Ukutasana chair pose. Exhaling to airplane your wings back. Inhale up, 2 more, exhale back. Inhale up, exhale back. We stay this round and we lift the right leg. Shoot your right leg back, softening that left knee for warrior 3 pose. Again, right foot is flexed, their toes are pointed, just as long as there's action in the muscle of the leg. Soften your standing leg knee, spread your toes, pull your left hip back and dial your right hip down. Press the crown of your head forward, take another big breath in. Stay for your exhale out. Inhale, press through your left foot and reach your arms overhead. One-legged mountain, right knee coming with or tapping your toes. Exhale, pull your right knee closer to your chest. Inhale, tap your toes down, reach your arms up. Exhale, bring your knee up and reach your arms down. We'll do a little differently this time. Inhale, tap, reach your arms up. Exhale to one-legged mountain, pull your knee in. One more time, inhale, reach up, tap. Exhale to one-legged mountain, pull your knee in. And now face your palms forward, thumbs out. Pendulum swing or kick your right leg back as you tilt your torso into that capital T shape. Back into our warrior 3, just using it as a transition to step back. And I'm facing away from you this round. Inhale up to a star pose. Turn your toes forward. And now exhale, interlace your hands behind your back this round. Inhale, pull your knuckles down, lift your chest up. I'm going to come to face you before I head into my forward fold. So I'll get a nice booty shot there. And as you hinge from your hips, bring the weight into your toes, bring your knuckles forward. Of course, if this bothers your shoulders in any ways, you can always release your hands down to the earth. Do roll your shoulder blades away from your ears. Don't let them kind of dig in. Keep the action in your shoulders, the muscles of your shoulders anyway. Releasing your hands, inhale, lift halfway together, flatten out your back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. And one more time as you exhale, hinge and forward fold. This time, grab a hold of your ankles or your calves, wherever you can, and see if you can pull yourself a little deeper into the fold. Inhale, lift halfway, bring your hands under your shoulders, crawl to the top of your mat, so you'll be framing your left foot, and inhale, step back to high plank. Exhale, shifting forward, lower halfway to your hover, chaturanga. Inhale into lower high cobra, yogi's choice. Heading back to your downward facing dog. We will meet there, yogis, and then we're going to start to take it down here to find some restorative postures. So from your down dog, inhale, lift up onto your tiptoes. Exhale, bend your knees and lower them to a seat. Either sit to one side or cross your ankles underneath of you and bring your legs out in front. Scoot forward to the very top of your mat until your heels line up with the top of your mat. If you have tightness in your hamstrings, grab that block, and as you bend your knees, you could slide the block underneath of your knees as a way to support. Otherwise, you could just bend your knees. When you're sitting here, I've got the camera, but maybe if you're watching yourself, especially if you're zooming with me, check in, make sure your shoulders are stacked over your hips. Inhale, reach your arms up, pull your belly in. Just let your arms fall back down by your sides, and then from here, see if you can crawl forward into a forward fold. Keep your feet flexed, so toes point back towards me. And if you have more room and you can lengthen out your legs, try to straighten out your legs so much that your heels lift. If bringing the hands forward causes your upper body to round, take your hands back instead. Thumbs forward and fingers back. And then you could also use your blocks as a way to support your head once you've found your depth. Paschimottanasana, or seated forward fold. Keep pinching your shoulder blades together. Draw them away from your ears. Take one more big breath in and one more big breath out. Inhale, remove any support you have and set it to the side. Slide your block halfway down if you have one and bend into your knees. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat and scoot all the way up so you've got enough room to lay down. And grab behind your knees. Lift your chest, take an inhale. Exhale, begin to transition slowly to your back. And if you do have that block, go ahead and grab it. If you don't, that's okay. If you have a blanket or a pillow, those would also work. Otherwise, you can just enjoy a restorative bridge while relaxing your hips on the earth. If you do have the block, lift your hips and slide the block under your sacrum, the flat part, either level 1 or level 2. And you might just pause here. This feels nice. One of my favorite yoga postures. But one of my even more favorite stretches to release our hip flexors. We started with a hip flexor release, so it would only be right to end with one as well. You could do this one leg at a time, just straightening your leg out. And if the level of your block is too intense, you might think about either taking it out and just adding a blanket or just reducing the level of your block. It has 3 different levels. I would recommend that you go with either level 1 or 2 in this posture. Level 3 for the back bend is pretty intense. So unless you have back bends frequent in your practice, stick with level 1 or 2. This is a nice way to just let the legs be elevated slightly, but then as we let our legs drape over the block, we get this nice big hip flexor opener as well as a low back release. If it's too intense, simply bend your knees and stack your heels underneath. One more big breath in. And one more full breath out. Inhale, begin to walk your heels back under your knees. Lift your hips up, slide your block to the side, and exhale, slowly lower your hips back down. Hug your knees into your chest, wrapping your arms around your shins. You can even lift up to grab a hold of opposite elbows. Take a big breath in, bring your nose into your knees. And then as you exhale, start to open up. If you'd like one final hip opener, you can just simply grab your knees and take them out to the sides here, or grab underneath. For happy baby, if you like the weight of your arms to pull your heels or your knees closer to the earth, you can grab up for your ankles or your feet, whether that's arches or outer edges, maybe looping your peace fingers around your big toes. Stay grounded through your tailbone, shoulders, and head. But then try to invite your toes back towards the wall behind you, or towards the corners of the wall behind you. Finding an inner groin stretch, you're welcome to find movement, rocking side to side, or enjoy stillness. Movement could also mean extending one leg long, and then the other, or both at the same time. Allow the soles of the feet to meet. Let your feet come down, keeping them together, but your knees out nice and wide. Finding Supta Baddha Konasana as a way to open up the hips, to open up the heart. Find goalposts with your arms, or reach your arms overhead and grab for opposite elbows. If this isn't too intense on the inner groin, slide some blocks or blankets under your knees. Otherwise, simply let gravity do the work here. Stay here for 3 more rounds of breath. Ballooning your belly and chest, and then watching it fall. 2 more cycles. You're welcome to stay right here, or if you're ready to move into your final resting pose, take your hands down, gather your knees up. If you need a quick fallen bridge as a counter posture for that, walk your feet wide and knock your knees in, or just window wiper your knees. And then from here, begin to either lengthen out long with your legs, Arms can reach out away from your midline. Let your palms face open. Add any other support that you need. You could use a blanket or blocks. And then begin to fully surrender. You guys had a wonderful practice, so take this time now to just let your body rest and restore. We have a good 4 full minutes of Shavasana, so I will let you know when class has officially come to an end. Your only responsibility is to simply be. Deep peace to all of you. Begin to slowly deepen your inhales and your exhales. If you have a couple extra minutes here, I recommend you stay a little longer if you can. If you're ready to move on, let your breath reawaken you first. And then bring movements back into your physical body. Wiggling fingers, toes, roll your wrists, roll your ankles, oscillate your head and neck. Take a wall-to-wall stretch, reaching your arms overhead and your toes to the top of your mat. Big belly breath in. Exhale, hug your knees into your chest and roll to your right side, pausing in the fetal position, creating a pillow with your right arm or bicep, and just taking a couple of breaths here to thank your body. Thank yourself for showing up today. With your top palm, press down and lift yourself up with as little effort as you can, working your way back into an easy seat. Closing your eyes if they opened and bringing your hands together at your heart. Sitting up nice and tall with an erect spine. Press your palms together and broaden across your collarbones and chest. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale, let it go out your mouth. Bow your head towards your prayer hands, taking in this new wisdom and light that you've learned about yourself today. Listening to the quality of your breath and your thoughts now, and reminding yourself to just give your all, 100% in everything that you do. It's the only way that we'll continue to grow and challenge ourselves, by working through the difficulties, by working through things that feel uncomfortable, so that the uncomfortable becomes comfortable. Thank you so much for sharing your energy and breath with me today. May peace, may love, may light be felt within each and every one of you. Bless you and everyone you meet. Namaste. Thank you, yogis, so much for sharing your practice with me. As always, please let me know if you have any questions or would like to connect. I love hearing suggestions and feedback. So until I see you next time, namaste.